Focus, focus, focus. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today, not only am I fueled by Red Bull, but I am also fueled by discount Halloween candy. And since I am in a sugar-fueled, crazy amount of hyperness, I figured today would be as good a day as any to film my anime Husbandos, waifus, and cinnamon buns video. Because I developed a lot of these crushes like when I was in high school and when I was at like my peak amount of cringe and hyperness and whatever the fuck. So I figured I'd get into that mindset today and film this video for all of you and show you how still cringy I am to this day. Yeah. Even though I make myself out to be like this like pathetic like person who has like all these crushes on like fictional characters, like all these crushes on like, you know, all the anime boys and all the anime girls and yada yada yada, I actually don't have that many like husbandos, so to speak, because most of the time I'm not drawn to like a specific person in an anime, but rather like the series as like a whole, you know what I mean? I'm more drawn to like the atmosphere and the music and the just like the general overall story and like the character development. For example, one of my favorite series, oddly enough, is the show Free! Exclamation mark. And I know it's like total fujoshi bait, but I was like mostly curious to see if it actually had any kind of story development to it, because all I knew about it was just like, oh, like swimming and lots of like I said, lots of fujoshi bait. I watched it and I'm like, this is cool. Like I wasn't like necessarily like, attracted to any of the characters, but I'm like, all right, there is a decent selection of characters that I can see people going for, and there is, you know, a bit of implied gayness. But yeah, if you move past like the half-naked characters like running around interacting with each other in like very sexy or like borderline sexy kind of ways, the story is pretty good and like the character development is good, and you know, the way the characters like interact with each other like throughout the series is great. And you know, I probably cried one time or 4 or 5. But like I said, it's like I don't necessarily find myself like attracted to the people in that show. I just like the show itself. Same thing with shows like Ergo Proxy and shows like Serial Experiments Lane. Like I love those two shows like so much, but I don't necessarily find myself like attracted to people like in the show. If I found myself attracted to people in Lane, I would be kind of like worried. But Lane has just such a good story and it's just so like cerebral and weird. All of that rambling aside, I feel like when I watch anime, like friend or cinnamon bun material is way higher than like husbando material, because even though I'm a bit of a hoe, I am kind of picky. So without further ado, let's dive right on into this, shall we? Yeah, cheers. My first anime husbando is, again, oddly enough, it's Space Dandy from the show of the same name. My dandy guy in space with a pompadour that will, you know, slay all you basic bitches for hair, you know what I mean? Space Dandy normally is not the kind of guy that I would go for, because he is kind of a pig and he's kind of douchey, and he has like that like air of like bravado about him that I really do not like in a lot of people. Like I just don't go for like the whole like, hey baby, you know, like I'm like so much better than you and yada yada yada. Mia, like why the fuck are you going for this dude? And the answer to that is he does have his like, you know, emotional moments and soft moments. He is just like the typical guy where he is like, he has like feelings but he just buries it underneath like ego and like bravado. But yeah, also like Space Dandy is like, I find him to be hella cute, especially there's like a scene where he has like his hair all down and I'm just like, oh no, oh damn it. The way I think of it is like Space Dandy is sort of like my cute like side slam piece, and like my main anime husbando is Vash the Stampede from the show Trigun, and has been since I was like maybe 15. I'm old, holy shit. Yeah, I've had like this weird crush on Vash like ever since I was like 15, like 14 or 15. Because not only was the show introduced to me by a fellow that I had an enormous crush on in high school, but yeah, this guy like also cosplayed as Vash, and so I'm just like, I have to love this character now. And I do. Like, I watch the series and I'm like, okay, this guy is cute, he's funny, he's sensitive, he likes cats, and he loves donuts, and he's very much so like a pacifist, and you know, he has a lot of like, you know, depth and everything like that. I feel like Vash is like more like husband like material. Like, I would go and have like a random like wild ass night with Space Dandy, and then I would come home to Vash. And like, you know, we're cool with it. Like, we've had like the talk and everything like that, and we're like, hey, you know, you can go do your thing and I'll go do my thing, but we just have to come home to each other. I'm pathetic. Oh my god. Also, because my annoying, goth, try-hard high school self is still extremely prevalent in my mindset and just how I act in general, she's just kind of like poking at me, going like, yo, listen to me. And I'm like, what do you want? Go to your room. I feel like my high school goth try-hard self would be like, hey, can you mention Alucard from Hellsing? And I'm like, yes, fine, I'll mention Alucard from Hellsing, because I had a crush on him when I was in high school too. Go figure. Moving on to the, like I said, I only have like two major main anime husbands, and then like, you know, the goth try-hard one. I feel like I have more, but Space Dandy and Vash were like the main two. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm like kind of obsessed with Space Dandy for like really weird reasons. Moving on to like the cinnamon bun friend area of this. The thing with me and anime is I not only want to be friends with some of the characters, but I also see myself a lot in the characters that are written. Basically, I feel like people write characters to be really relatable and kind of like basic in a way. But yeah, like you like relate to them a bit more like when they have to make hard choices, or you like, you know, you feel for them more like if somebody's being mean to them. My first anime friend, cinnamon bun / who I see the most of myself in, is Madoka from the show Puella Magi Madoka Magica. And I am obsessed with this show. I love it so much. I have mentioned in the past that I have like the soul gem and the grief seed for Madoka tattooed on the back of my legs. I started watching Madoka Magica when I came home from Anime Boston one year, because I saw like this list on like BuzzFeed or something, and they're like, anime that like starts out like really happy and cute, but then turns like really dark and twisted. I'm like, ooh, I'm all about that. I love like shit that is like cute but also like fucked up at the same time, because hey. I pretty sure I like binged it within like in a span of like 2 days, and I'm just like, I have to show this to like every single person. Like, I have to talk about this to every single person. And anyone who's like, hey, what anime should I watch? I'm like, watch Madoka Magica, come back and fucking thank me later, because it is worth it. I not only love like the style of the show, but I love the style of it. Like, it's pretty much like, I like to describe it as like if Dave McKean met Sailor Moon and they like had a baby. So Madoka is like your typical like pink-haired protagonist, and she is surrounded by like all of these girls and all of these friends who are like better at a lot of things. Like, she is like, you know, the typical like I said, the typical anime character where she's like, I'm not really good at stuff, but I like seeing my friends be happy and like be good at what they do. And that's kind of like how I feel like I am a lot. Like, I'm pretty good at some stuff, but I see people around me who are like so much more practiced, and they've had like more time to practice, and they haven't, you know, like they obviously, like all of us like have stuff to like go through and like work on and like obstacles and whatnot, but they, like, I have so many fucking talented and beautiful and sexy and amazing friends. Like, I am so lucky to have the friends that I do. And I sometimes feel a lot like Madoka, because I'm like, well, I'm not really good at a lot of stuff, but, you know, I'll stick with you and support you. This is kind of spoiler territory, but basically, like, when you sign a contract with this character named Kyubey basically grants you a wish, and then you become a magical girl and you fight witches. And Madoka doesn't sign a contract right away, and she basically watches her friends sign contracts, or she watches like other magical girls who have contracts fight, and she kind of watches like the wish that they made kind of turn on itself a little bit. She's like, all I know is I want to help people, and I want to make people happy, and I want to like support people. Yeah, I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I really do like helping people, and sometimes I don't know how, and sometimes when I try and help people, I go about it the wrong way. And Madoka sometimes goes about helping people in the wrong way. So yeah, Madoka is like my top like cinnamon bun friend, person who I see myself the most in. Long story short, I feel like I have the most in common with pink-haired protagonists. Another lovely pink-haired protagonist that I like to relate myself to is Amu Hinamori from the show Shugokara. And I feel like the reason I relate to her, or that I like her the most, is because, so her whole shtick is that she kind of presents herself as like this like kind of person who's very like aloof and kind of like not really caring, or she's just kind of like, I'm so cool, like I'm, you know, this little like trendsetter and yada yada yada, and I'm awesome. And then like she comes home and she's like, oh my god, like this is like all like a front. And then like she has like these little like helpers that come out to help her like express like different parts of herself that she's hiding. I like that as a premise for a show. I kind of feel like that was how I was, like I said, again, in high school, because I tried to put up like this front of being like this like weird kid, and I was, and I still am, but I tried to do it like in a really weird way. And now, like when I meet people, I don't really put up a front. I'm just like, hey, this is me. I'm a weirdo. I make videos online and I draw really weird shit, and I am kind of obsessed with a lot of things. If you're obsessed with things too, let's talk about them. I relate to Amu a lot because not only does she have pink hair, but she is also like trying to find different ways to express herself and to find different ways to be like the most like true version of herself, which I think is admirable. Okay, another cinnamon bun person who was kind of like borderline husbando material for a while, but we kind of agreed that it would be best if we stayed friends, is Rock Lee from the show Naruto. And back in the day, I was obsessed with Naruto. I love Rock Lee. I did not expect to like Rock Lee. I thought I was going to be Kakashi trash or even Sasuke trash. I never really fucked with Sasuke. Rock Lee, what I think like one of the reasons I like him so much is because I tend to go for like the more like comedic folks, and Rock Lee is like one of those guys who's just kind of like, he's very dedicated to like learning his craft, and he's very dedicated to like becoming the best that he can be. He's just very sweet, and he just seems like very genuine, and I like the fact that the creator, he was basically like, I didn't really expect Rock Lee to become as popular as he did, but yeah, there you go. And Rock Lee is just kind of like this kind of, you know, like I said, he's a goober, and he's just kind of like, I'm gonna be like a knight in shining armor, but I'm just gonna stumble over my feet like in the process of doing it. I just really like Rock Lee. I like Rock Lee as a character. I like his character design. I love his eyebrows. And yeah, Rock Lee is fabulous, and I'm pretty sure I still have a keychain of him somewhere on one of my bags that I carried around like in late high school, early college. So my next cinnamon bun person is actually Silica from Sword Art Online, mostly because she's kind of like a beastmaster, like a sort of druid kind of person, and she is very, very loyal and attached to her familiar, like to the point where she like goes and on this really weird, arduous journey in order to find something to resurrect her familiar, because she is very like attached to it. And she's mostly described as like sweet and kind and caring and just very loyal to her friends, and I like to think of myself as kind and sweet and loyal to my friends, but I just like her dedication. I admire Silica's dedication to her craft and making sure her familiar is taken care of, making sure her friends are taken care of. And I also like the fact that she's like that typical like anime girl trope of like the kind of like the tsundere in a way, where she's just like, it's not like I like you or anything, or oh my god, don't look at me. There's like a part where she's like hanging upside down, her skirt's falling, and she's like, Kirito, don't look at me. I love her. Yeah, Silica's great. I feel like Silica was kind of like underrated in that show, but you know, she's awesome. Next cinnamon bun slash friend is Sailor Jupiter, because I love Sailor Jupiter. Jupiter is my favorite planet, aside from the moon, which is my ruling celestial body. I love that she is tall. I love that she can like kick your ass, but also bake you a cake. And yeah, Sailor Jupiter is just great. I love her. And you know, like I said, while I am, you know, ruled by the moon, and I do like Sailor Moon, and I do relate to her very much, I feel like Sailor Jupiter and I would be better friends, because we like cook and bake together and just be like weird, like giggly gardening goobers. The last like kind of couple or characters or whatever is actually from a manga. I think it was made into an anime. Pretty sure it was made into an anime. These folks are Miwako and Arashi from the show slash manga Paradise Kiss. And I love the punk kind of style and music, and just like the whole like aesthetic and like the background behind punk. And Arashi is very much so like punk. Like he's this Japanese like guy, and he like sort of like talks in like British slang, and it's like super cute. And he has this adorable little gothic Lolita, again, pink hair girlfriend named Miwako. And Miwako is just like super cute and just super bubbly and super bouncy, and it's just adorable. And she and Arashi just like play off each other very well. And I feel like we would get along really well. And I would love, now that I know how to sort of sew, I feel like it would be so much fun to like hang out with them like in their workshop, because the whole like premise of that story is like fashion design and like sewing clothes, and like the story was like but like the illustration and the character design that Aizawa did, ultimate fashion boner. And the same thing with the show that Aizawa did called Nana. Oh, I loved Nana. And Nana had a lot of that like whole like, you know, kind of like punk and like cuteness to it, which I love. So yeah, I think that's all of them. Those are the first anime characters that I can think of to be friends with, and also that, you know, I would husband up. Like I've pretty much been married to Vash like ever since like I saw that show. So, you know, we've been together for a really long time, and you know, it's going fine. God, fuck. Oh God, I need help. Alright, that is my very rambly, very long, very hyper, very sugar-fueled video. So I think I'm going to stop this video and then go edit this, and yeah. I love and appreciate all of you who watch my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Love you, bye!